Hello everyone, I'm Ian Loughlin, the Information Manager here at Inclusive Technology, and today I'd like to show you the Skyle for Windows eye tracker and the Inclusive EyeGaze Learning Curve software. So first of all, let me show you the Skyle for Windows eye tracker and the accompanying software, the Skyle mouse software that you would use to set up the device. So as you can see, I've got the eye tracker. It's a portable eye tracker, just positioned on the 21.5-inch screen here that I've plugged into the side with the included USB cable. Now, if I open the Skyle mouse software, this is the cell, the button that you'd use to open the control interface there. So you can see there's various different mouse control options available. So click, right click, double click. There is cursor mode available, which I'll be using for the learning curve software later on. Scroll if you're on websites to use a vertical movement. On-screen keyboard, drag and drop. There's also a positioning window here in the middle. You can see those two white dots. Those are my eyes. You can see as I'm moving my head from side to side, that will move as well, just to show that you're in a good position. There is a pause button here, so you can pause the EyeGaze service. There's also the calibration button, so you can instantly access the calibration process. An exit button on the top. Not only will that close the Skyle mouse program down, but that will stop the EyeGaze service altogether. And the settings button here. So I'm going to go into settings now and show you how you can further adjust the settings of the Skyle mouse software. So first of all, the first window you'll see is a positioning window. So again, you can see the white dots are my eyes. The yellow dot is where I'm actually looking on the screen. So if I just move forward and backwards, you can see there are messages appearing on screen just to indicate whether I'm in a good position, whether I need to move closer or further away from the screen. You can also see the guide bars on the side and on the bottom there, just to indicate I'm at a good height and good position to the screen. This is on the guided positioning window. If I set that to video, then you get the, if I just toggle between the two, actually, I get the live video stream there, you can see. So that would be quite useful for any users that wear glasses, because you want to look to reduce the lens glare, any light that's reflecting on the lenses. So you just adjust the height or angle of the eye tracker accordingly, just to reduce that lens glare. That will certainly help the EyeGaze user there. Okay, so once we're happy with the position, if I just click settings now, so here's the full settings screen. So you can see it's fully EyeGaze interactive. I can move up and down the screen. But if I wanted just to disable EyeGaze in the settings, so you know, just in case you had an EyeGaze user you think might accidentally select something, then I can go under gaze selection here and just click that button and click disable. So now I can't select anything with EyeGaze. Now I can use a touch screen. So the touch screen, I can use my mouse as well. So let's just go back to the top of the screen and see what's available. So here we have the amount of calibration points that are available. There, I will select to a 5-point calibration. We have a stepped calibration. What this means, it involves the user supporting the EyeGaze user, who will be recognizing that the EyeGaze user is looking in the correct area of the screen where these dots are appearing, and then pressing the space bar. I've got a keyboard here. If I wanted to do that, pressing the space bar for the next calibration point to appear. So it's a form of manual calibration, if you will, if that was selected. But I'm going to leave that disabled for the demo. Underneath here, we have what the calibration pointer will look like. So you can adjust what it looks like. You can adjust the size, for example, increase or decrease the size. We can add a pulsing effect to the calibration pointer there. We can add a grey outer circle. And if that wasn't proving successful, it wasn't engaging for the EyeGaze user, if they weren't looking at the screen, then we can also select that to emoji, click the emoji symbol there, and just select any of these emojis that are available. So I will set this to this red apple there. I'm going to turn the pulsing effect off and just slightly increase the size of that apple. Okay. Underneath that, we have the 3-speed presets. So how fast the mouse travels across the screen. So beginner, default, or an advanced. I've got this set to beginner. That's fast enough for me during this demo. If you were finding that was too fast, then you can actually slow it down even further by just adjusting the values manually underneath that. Okay. Underneath there, we have the pause mode. So if I enable that, it means if I look directly into the eye tracker for about 3-4 seconds, then it will pause the eye tracking service. It will stop working. Now, that might be quite handy for any EyeGaze user that is reading or watching something on the computer, and they don't want the mouse movement constantly moving with the slightest eye movement. So they can pause and unpause at will just by looking into the eye tracker. I mentioned about you can disable gaze selection in the settings menu here as well. In addition to that, you can adjust the dwell time, so how long I need to look at these cells to select them, and also the scroll speed, basically the speed of the vertical movement of the menu there. Underneath here, we have a list of keyboard shortcuts. So again, very important that you've got a keyboard connected. This will change the appearance or location of the Skyle mouse symbol that's on the desktop, which I'll show you in a bit. Sometimes that can prove to be a bit of a distraction for the EyeGaze user, so you can change that. Final few things here, we have the update button. So if there's any updates, you just click in there to apply them. We have a recordings button, so you can record the calibration if you wish. That might be quite handy if you run into any issues with the eye tracker and you need to send the data over to the manufacturer for them to analyze and see what the problem is. The about button just details what version of the software and hardware you're running. And finally, the advanced settings button there. That's there for if you run into any problems with the eye tracker, you can choose to restart the eye tracking service or restart the device in the Skyle mouse software. It means you don't have to restart the computer or actually unplug the eye tracker. It's all done within the Skyle mouse software itself. What I'm going to move on to now is the calibration. So if I just click calibration on the side there, you can see the positioning window again will reappear just to double check that you're in a good position. So I'm quite happy with that. Roughly, if I'm about 60 centimeters away, about an arm's length away, I know that's a good position. You can see the guide bars there are somewhere in the middle. So the calibration will start automatically if you stay in a good fixed position, or you can start it manually just by selecting the start button there. So I've got my 5-point calibration ready, so I'm going to click start now. And look at my 5 apples. They're going to appear in the corner and the center of the screen. And that's it. So I've calibrated the device. You can see at each of those 5 points, there is a rating, a star rating out of 5, just to indicate how well the calibration has done. So if I click done now, click exit, and that will take me back to the desktop, and that's it. I've gone through the positioning and calibration of the eye tracker now. the Skyle mouse software icon will reappear. And if I just hover over that and make sure it's unpaused, so now you can see I can click that with using EyeGaze. Now you can see I'm moving the mouse cursor, this large circle here. I'm moving that with EyeGaze. Now I can click the control user interface again. I'm just going to pause the eye tracker just for a second, just to explain what I'm going to show you next. So next I want to show you the inclusive EyeGaze learning curve software. So this software series consists of 3 titles. So there is attention and looking, exploring and playing, and choosing and learning. Now the idea behind the software is the user starts with the first title, attention and looking, and plays the games in that title. So there's going to be very simple EyeGaze based games. So there'll be tracking games, fixating, locating games. Once they've finished playing the games on that title, they will move on to the next title, choosing, exploring and playing, sorry, and then choosing and learning final title. And the idea behind it, once they've finished the games and choosing and learning, they will learn enough EyeGaze skills. The EyeGaze skills will be developed enough to then move on to communication software. So I want to give you an example of some of the games that are included in this. So first of all, let's start with the first title, attention and looking. So let me just, first of all, I'm going to take that off click, so I don't need the mouse click activated in the Skyle mouse software when using attention and looking software. Okay, so in all 3 titles of the Learning Curve software series, the first screen will show you 3 different categories. So these are the skill categories, if you will, of what the EyeGaze user is going to be developing. So we've got the tracking skills, fixating, and locating skills. So I'm going to look at the first one, the tracking skills, and look at the very first activity. So that's follow me straight. Okay, so before I even start the activity, I just want to run through some of the options that are available in this activity, because this will help the EyeGaze user, certainly if it's an EyeGaze user that's using it for the first time. So first of all, you can set the levels between experiential, cause and effect. So I will leave that at cause and effect because I want something to actually happen when I select these objects or characters that appear on screen. You can adjust the speed, so how fast these objects move across the screen. You can adjust the size of the objects. So if you had someone with a visual impairment, you may want to increase the size to large. You can adjust the direction, so where these objects move to. The characters and shapes, you can select what characters and shapes will appear. So if you have an EyeGaze user that's very interested in superheroes and wizards, for example, then just choose superheroes and wizards, and that's all will appear on screen just to get them fully engaged. What's happening on screen there. The colors, we can adjust the colors, we can adjust the shapes and backgrounds. So again, if you have a user with a visual impairment, you may want to have more of a contrast of colors. So this is where you can select them. And finally, mouse visibility. Ordinarily in these games, once the user is playing them, the mouse cursor will not appear on screen. If you wanted that to appear on screen, so you can track at every point where the user is looking, then just select visible on the, make sure you have the mouse connected as well, and then yeah, that will remain on screen. So once we're happy with the options there, I'll just go back into my EyeGaze menu. I'm just going to click resume and make sure, of course, that it's on cursor mode. So we want it on cursor mode for these games, and we'll click play. Okay, so you can see the circle moving across the screen there. Okay, so what's happened is that the eye tracker has picked up that my eyes have looked very, very briefly at the screen. So you can see it's not moving at the moment. You can see the mouse cursor there. But if I turn my attention towards the screen and look very briefly at it, you see the character begins to move to get the user's attention. Okay, now that's intentional. The difference is if I then look at the shape, so it will begin to move, it will animate. If there's anybody that produces any sound, there will be sound effects also, but these shapes don't have anything like that. Well, let's wait for one of the characters to appear. So there will be 8 objects in total in the game. Okay, so let's leave the robot to move halfway across the screen, and I'll begin looking at him. And you can see the difference there. Again, with the triangle, you can see the movement when I begin looking at it. Okay, and that's the end reward screen displayed there. Now, I'm just going to pause the eye tracker because I want to show you the analysis feature in the software now. So once you've completed that activity, and you don't have to go through all 8 screens, that might be a bit too much for an early EyeGaze user. If you clicked escape on the keyboard, you can exit the game at any time, but the analysis feature will always be available. So if I click on analysis, so we have access to all the screens that we've just played there. So for example, if I click number 3 and I click video playback, click play normal, then we get a video of what we've just played. So you can see that eye icon of where I was on the screen, just moving about there. So again, I can select any of these. So let's look at the robot one, for example. So that's where my eye was. Robot will move to the center of the screen, then I'll begin looking at him. Okay, there you go. So not only do we have video recordings available, we also have heat maps, which shows the areas of concentrated gaze. So where I was looking longest on screen, so you can see those kind of orange red colors there. We can save all of these images, by the way, they save as a JPEG file. We also have a line trace showing the exact movement, the path there, of me looking at the screen. Now, not only do we have those kind of things available, but we can also save a summary here. So that will generate a report and save it to a computer as a JPEG file. So if I just come out of here for a second, because I have one already saved on my computer. So if I just click open the report here, and you can see there's various different things included in the report. So there, let's just try and increase the size of that. So we have the date is auto completed, the name of the activity, the purpose of the activity, screenshots of those settings that you chose, and the heat maps, and a couple of boxes to add your own thoughts and interpretations and next steps where you want to move on to. Okay, so that kind of report is included with all the activities there. So I think that's about time. That's all time I've got to show you this software. But certainly, if you're interested in that, then you can download free trials of that software available on our website. If I just go to our website here and show you. So if you go to inclusive.com UK EyeGaze-downloads, and you can see here the inclusive EyeGaze learning curve available in different languages there. And so if you download those, it will give you a 14-day free trial just to have a look at the software, see what you think of it. And of course, if you have any questions about any of these products, whether it's the Skyle for Windows, which again, if I just type in Skyle on our website there, you can see all the different versions of Skyle. There's an iPad version of it as well. But if I just go into hardware, Skyle for Windows on our website, you can see the different versions available. So this was the just the eye tracker on its own that I was speaking of. So if you have any further questions about any of these things, then just get in touch. You can always email us at infomail@inclusive.co.uk, or you can get in touch with our live chat facility, or you can also book a virtual demo on our website. If you click virtual demo, then all those eye trackers are available for a demo. You can also request a demo as well. So it's been great speaking to you today. Hope you have a good rest of the day.